At the moment, there's little to no doubt about it. MrBeast is the most popular person on YouTube. Honestly, it's like this guy prints money whenever he shares a video on the platform. Whether he's given away $1 million or spending some time in an abandoned city, MrBeast has managed to literally bend the laws of YouTube to his will, and he's very well on the way to creating a billion-dollar brand with the type of momentum he's hitting. Today, MrBeast is a role model for many people who would love to hop on the YouTube bandwagon and start making content as well. And as his profile has grown, so has the attention that's followed him. And now you have a lot of people asking, who the heck is this guy? And how did he become so big in the first place? Well, in this video, we'll be looking at the incredible rise of MrBeast, his origin, and what makes him such a huge draw whenever he drops any form of content. The story of Jimmy Donaldson. With 244 million subscribers as of March 2024, MrBeast is the most subscribed individual and the second most subscribed channel in the history of YouTube. His videos average around 100 million views, and his influence has even expanded to other social media platforms as well. But it definitely didn't start this way. Born James Jimmy Donaldson, MrBeast was just a small-town kid from Greenville, North Carolina. He was born in May 1998 to a single mother who happened to be a military woman, so Jimmy and his siblings had to move around a lot when they were much younger. As a child, Jimmy was said to have been pretty much a loner. He didn't necessarily like being around people, which is kind of antithetical to the MrBeast we all know and love today. Nevertheless, while he was a loner, Jimmy recognized quickly that he had a bit of an obsessive personality. As he points out, the moment he liked something, it would pretty much consume his entire life.
First instance of that was probably baseball. I didn't want to do anything else. Good luck getting me to study for a test at that age.
When he first swung that bat at 10 years old, it was nonstop. He was driven in Little League, going on to playing in Babe Ruth. He absolutely loved baseball.
Jimmy loved baseball, and his mother also saw the sport as a way to help her son socialize and meet new friends. But the moment he started going to practice, everyone kinda saw the same thing. He just couldn't mingle or make friends with the other kids. Jimmy's shyness got the best of him, becoming so bad that he could literally be standing in front of someone and not have the slightest clue about how to talk to them. Fast forward to 2008, however, and Jimmy pretty much lit upon something that would change his life. At this time, YouTube was just 3 years old, and much of it was still being discovered. People were basically just posting videos for the sake of it, and it didn't seem like there was much of a method to what most people were doing. Nevertheless, Jimmy had been aware of YouTube, and watching videos basically consumed his time. As he put it, if he wasn't watching ESPN at home, he was on his computer combing through YouTube and just being entertained by the clips on there. It also helped that most of the kids at Jimmy's school didn't really know what YouTube was. So Jimmy, who had already been pretty much an outcast, saw something that not many people knew and was able to enjoy it in his own way. That said, he did have one person that seemed to be just his type of cool, his best friend, Chris Tyson.
Me and Jimmy first met when we were in I think he was in middle school, I was in high school. We were kind of the only kids that really liked YouTube and really enjoyed talking about it. But then one day he said that he wanted to start a channel of his own.
Jimmy had apparently been inspired to go into video content creation full-time because one of his favorite channels on the platform actually had something similar. As he explained, his favorite content creator announced at the time that he was quitting his day job and focusing completely on creating content on YouTube. Seeing this immediately lit a fire in Jimmy. Not only could he create content as he liked, but he also found out that it was possible to make money off YouTube. All of this was the inspiration that he needed. Instead of just consuming videos on YouTube, Jimmy was now going to create them. And just like his favorite channel, maybe he'd be able to make money off the platform as well. As for the name, MrBeast, well, it also had quite the interesting backstory.
I was there with Jimmy the day he created his YouTube channel, and I was actually his first subscriber.
When you create an account on Xbox, they have this thing where it just gives you a random gamer tag, and I was just like, MrBeast, this sounds cool.
Just like that, the most iconic YouTube channel ever was created. Jimmy found the perfect name for the perfect platform, and MrBeast was born. Hello, MrBeast. When you just start a business in a new niche, there's a significant chance that you won't know what works and what doesn't. And considering that this was still very much the early days of YouTube, Jimmy never really understood the types of content that people would want to watch or that would resonate with people. So Jimmy did what any business owner would do and began trying different forms of content. In his early YouTube days, Jimmy had just about everything, but probably the most popular types of videos were the commentary videos, where he'd play video games and basically just keep talking as the gameplay proceeded. Think of these videos like the regular Twitch or Call of Duty streaming that's done today. You stream yourself playing video games, and you talk about random stuff that just pops up in your mind. Things were going pretty okay until everything changed when Jimmy was 15. He was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, an inflammatory condition in the bowels that affects the digestive tract. Crohn's disease is known to be quite painful, and in some cases, it can have fatal consequences if it's not handled the right way.
Jimmy's diagnosis of Crohn's was earth-shattering. The weight loss, the loss of energy, all those facets of Crohn's attacked him really, really bad, and it was a pretty serious situation.
I went from like 180 pounds down to 139. I remember 139 because that was my lowest, which at 6'2" was like a frail little twig. I mean, I barely could get out of bed. I had no energy to do anything. I didn't even want to go to school.
Jimmy was affected so badly that he could barely hold down any food. And even though his family and their doctors were able to develop a feeding plan that would help him to even start eating again, that took literally months to be developed. And in that time, he got considerably worse. With the effects of Crohn's disease, Jimmy's first love, baseball, became more of a torture. And it got to a point that the teenager had to be honest with himself and say that he couldn't play the sport he loved anymore. The silver lining to this, however, is that it gave Jimmy the time he needed to focus on his new passion, making content on YouTube. Jimmy was obsessed with making content. He was obsessed with watching his channel grow, and he knew that one of the best ways to achieve this would be to post content as frequently as possible. With that, he set a target for himself. He'd create videos every other day for 3 months straight, then watch and see how this affected the growth of his channel in real time.
At first, it seemed like a hobby, but then he wouldn't want to go to the movies. He wanted to focus on filming a video, and like when I started hanging out with him, filming more videos with him, I understood that for him, like this was like he's obsessed with it. Like this is what he wanted.
The strategy kinda worked. Jimmy began to see impressive growth, and his channel was getting more popular. By 2012, Jimmy's channel already boasted 3,000 subscribers. Now, sure, this was not at the same level as YouTube big shots like PewDiePie, but still it was growth, and for Jimmy, that was all that mattered at the end of the day. Fun fact, when Jimmy actually started making YouTube videos, he didn't even tell his mother. As his mom explained, she'd walk past his room and hear him talking, but she mostly just thought it was him gaming with a few guys or random people on the internet. Jimmy eventually told his mom, but that didn't even happen until his channel hit 10,000 subscribers. Even funnier is the fact that Jimmy actually didn't even make any money in the earlier years of him making YouTube videos. Any content creator looking to monetize their YouTube account would need to join the platform's partner program, and to be eligible for that, you need to have grown your channel to a certain point. The more engagements your videos get, the more money you're able to make on the channel. Eventually, though, Jimmy's channel did get the type of traction that he needed to monetize it, but that took literally years of not making any money. When he did start to make money, it came in trickles.
It took me 75,000 views to make my first $100 off of YouTube. I'm making around $30 a month.
Now, remember, all this was just two guys, Jimmy and Chris, doing weird stuff and having fun with it. Inasmuch as growth was on their mind, neither of them really had any idea how big their channel was going to really get. To hear Chris explain it, they were just guys hanging out and hoping that their content found its way to a niche audience. At the time, having about 4,000 to 5,000 views on a video was a pretty big deal, and neither of them was really gunning for the gargantuan numbers that they're doing at the moment. Diving into YouTube full-time. Eventually, things kinda hit another roadblock when Jimmy graduated from high school. His mother was hell-bent on him going to college because, that's what pretty much every parent would want for their child. Jimmy, though, wasn't so enthusiastic about furthering his education beyond the high school point.
I never wanted to go to college. My whole goal in all of high school was to never go to college. I was just like, if I can just make enough money before high school is over, I can just do this. That's where I doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on YouTube. I'm like, I'm still only making a few bucks a day. We gotta figure this out.
This was a bit of an issue. And going into the fall, Jimmy's mother gave him a simple ultimatum. He could stay in the house and keep up with his YouTube career as a side project if he went to school. If he didn't, then he'd have to leave the house. For a kid with just a few dollars in his pocket, the choice was pretty much made. Jimmy went to college, albeit very begrudgingly. Interestingly, college was where Jimmy really started to get the type of traction he hoped for. He did stop going to classes, but he never told his mother. And maybe this was the kick he needed to really get motivated, but who knows? What we do know is that Jimmy's channel started to get even more hits as time went on, and for him, this was all the joy he could have ever asked for. Boom! Jimmy's channel grew to the point where he began to earn about $1,000 a month, and with that, he was able to get a decent place in town and move in with Chris. His college career died in utero, and Jimmy became a full-time YouTuber. As the channel grew, so did the ideas for Jimmy's videos. But all of a sudden, things changed when he decided to live stream himself, counting from 1 to 100,000 on his channel. Interestingly, he actually did that for a really strange reason.
Chris showed me this anime, and I just couldn't take a break from working to watch it. I was like, how can I make content while also watching anime? As weird as that is.
I'm about to count to 100,000.
To be honest, no one on YouTube has ever done something that stupid, just counting for 40 hours.
Let's 1, 2, 3, 4.
It garnered a ton of attention.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006.
It's one of my first real viral videos.
76,411, 76,412, 76,414, 76,415, 76,416.
And that's where it kind of clicked, if I do interesting things, people will watch.
100,000. What am I doing with my life?
The virality of this video made it clear to Jimmy. Instead of doing random stuff that he and Chris found to be interesting, they could just up the ante and start doing really weird, interesting things that would intrigue people. This way, they could capitalize on the community they had already grown, and they could really build their channel even more. And so, it began.
I'm gonna be watching It's Every Day, Bro, for 10 hours straight.
After that, I watched 2 different music videos for 10 hours straight, and those did well. And then I read the dictionary.
Masterpiece, mastery, masthead, mathematic, masthead, masthead.
I spun a fidget spinner for 24 hours, and I actually broke the world record on that one.
I was kind of amazed that people cared, you know what I mean? Because, who's watching somebody read the entire dictionary, all that kind of stuff. But if you think about it, it's so original that you kind of just have to click on it. And I was like, wow, that's genius.
Woo! It broke!
Cracking the code. Soon enough, Jimmy wasn't just making videos for the internet anymore. His content had purpose and direction, and that only helped to boost his channel even more. And before he knew it, he began to get brand deals.
Well, basically, this agent manager kind of guy that represents Quid called me and was like, hey, we'll give you $5,000 for a video, which was insane at the time. Just I make a video and I get $5,000. 4, 5.
Jimmy calls me and he's over the moon, ecstatic. Mom, you're never gonna believe what just happened. Somebody just offered me $5,000 to put an ad on my channel. And I was like, $5,000, that's really, really great. Yeah, I turned it down.
And I remember this vividly because I'm just standing in my driveway and I'm like, no, I want $10,000. And he's like, 5,000. I'm like, no, I want 10,000. I just want to walk out my front door and go give it to a homeless person. And he's like, really? 9, 10.
And I'm shocked. Like, that's your great idea for your first time you're getting a brand deal?
Well, it might have been crazy, but it worked. Jimmy managed to convince this company to double their offer, and he streamed himself literally walking and giving the money to a homeless person.
He called me up and he was like, hey, I need a cameraman for something I'm gonna do. And he told me to meet him at Walmart. And he showed me the envelope that had 10 grand in it. And he was like, I'm gonna give that homeless guy 10 grand and you're gonna stand here and film it.
Hey,
That's literally all the preparation I had for it.
I'm a YouTuber. I mean, you can see the camera. And so it's a series where I just, be nice and just give people some help. So if you want to take it, it's about $10,000. I'm not joking. You're right.
No, you talking.
No, I'm not.
It's real.
Yeah, I swear. No, I don't like.
No, man.
After it happened, we actually went and got dinner with the guy and talked a little bit about his situation. So it was really cool to hear like him talk about how it would help him and stuff like that.
One more.
How did it feel handing someone $10,000? Obviously great, seeing his face light up.
These guys are the best, man. These guys are unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I had never heard so much enthusiasm. I had never heard so much heart. I had never heard so much feedback about any video that him and Chris had done from the time. I mean, his heart was changed. And he talked about it over and over and over again about how fulfilling and how awesome it was that he was able to help somebody out and give him the money.
This video was a smashing success. Everyone from the homeless guy who just got cash to Jimmy to the company that sponsored it was pretty happy. And with that, Jimmy took some of the earnings he got and just did another similar video. From then on, the videos just kept getting wilder and wilder. Jimmy and Chris filmed one where they tipped pizza delivery drivers huge sums of money, gave money to more homeless people, and did just a bunch of stuff with the money that they'd gotten. To hear Jimmy explain it, the primary reason for all of this was just the altruistic benefit of it all. He genuinely enjoyed seeing people and the reactions on their faces when he did good to them, and their joy automatically made him feel better. But there was also a math to this as well. As Jimmy saw it, he could take money from a brand and give it away, and he'd be sure that the resulting video would perform well. Then he could take the money he earned from that video, as well as any other cash that comes from another brand deal, and do the same thing. More money, more views, more money, and on it would go. In his words, Jimmy was looking to use brands to allow him to help people. And this, according to him, was the perfect strategy to help him and his channel grow.
I'll take tips, but here's $200.
Seriously? See, you got what? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It got so big that Jimmy even had some change to literally give to his mother.
I brought my friends.
Oh, hey, everybody.
Slowly.
Try not to be too mad at me. So, you saw me carrying this, and so I wanted to give you money to put towards your house or something. Don't you owe a lot of money on your house? Yes. So, I wanted to give you a check to help you pay for it.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, Mom, I'm here to give you $100,000 to help you pay off your house. What? What are you talking about? Like, you're here to help me? No, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Y'all are gonna make me cry. I remember the day he did that. Just the pure happiness like on his face as he was telling her that.
Oh, should we get all emotional for this?
Oh my God. That was his way of saying, thanks, Mom. Thanks, Mom, for all that you did for me. Thanks for all that you did growing up. And here, I want you to be part of my success.
Obviously, it felt great. I mean, I don't know how to really describe it in words. I'm not the best at that, but she needed the money and she was working a lot still, and it meant a lot back then.
2019 and Team Trees. At this point, the year was 2018. Jimmy's YouTube channel had grown to hit about 1.6 million subscribers, and he was pretty much doing it all right now. One moment he was walking down the street and giving his credit card to random people to buy whatever they wanted. The next moment, he and his guys were trying to survive in the desert or run a marathon in the world's largest pair of shoes. That same year, Jimmy met Reed Dusher, a digital talent manager who had become aware of him through a mutual friend. Reed helped to refine Jimmy's business strategy, taking him from a niche guy making random, interesting videos to becoming a bona fide YouTube star who everyone wanted to know about. All in all, with Reed's help, Jimmy had crafted the fastest growing channel on YouTube, growing his subscriber list from about 1.6 mil to 13.6 mil by the turn of the year. A year later, Jimmy continued to grow his channel, one crazy video after the other. And in more ways than one, it kinda seemed like he was just outdoing himself every time. Somehow, this was one of the reasons why people kept coming back to his channel to see what crazy thing MrBeast was up to next. Well, there would be no shortage of crazy stuff. I mean, remember the time when Jimmy literally planted 1 million trees?
For one of my videos. And so, like we do, we start just seeing if it's actually feasible. We did a bunch of research, we called a bunch of companies, and we came to the conclusion that I was stupid and it's not possible. 1 million trees is way too many trees to plant. So then I did something that's typical for me. When something's not possible, I somehow make it more impossible, and I'm like, oh, I'm about to hit 20 million subscribers. I want to plant 20 million trees. And everyone's like, does your brain not work? And I'm like, nope, I want to plant 20 million trees. So then I just threw out a tweet and I was like, to celebrate 20 million subscribers, I want to plant 20 million trees. If anyone wants to help, reach out. And that's kind of where this ball started rolling. I ended up connecting with Mark Rober.
Mark Rober is a former NASA and Apple mechanical engineer. He connected with Jimmy while he worked at Apple, and his job was basically to help decide whether this mission of planting 20 million trees would actually be possible.
Working at Apple, he called me up, and I know exactly where I was. I walked outside of the building, and we were pacing back and forth, being like, is this something we could do? Is this possible? You know, more and more people started liking it and retweeting it, so it was clear there was like an appetite for this.
Together, Jimmy and Mark started working on a plan. Their goal was to develop something as ironclad and as effective as possible. No fakes or flukes, just a foolproof plan that would see 20 million trees being planted without any issues. The two finally got connected with the Arbor Day Foundation, a 501 nonprofit that's dedicated towards planting trees. Jimmy's belief was simple. If these guys had planted hundreds of millions, they should be able to manage just 20 million. With the foundation's publicity, Jimmy and Mark finally came up with an idea. They could tell people to donate $1, and for every dollar donated, a tree would be planted somewhere in the world.
Our goal was to plant trees on all the continents except for Antarctica. Arbor Day will work with local partners all across the globe. Their message is plant the right tree at the right place at the right time. It's like doing this responsibly so it actually matters and makes a difference.
So then we started tinkering with the name. We eventually ended up on Team Trees. $1 equals 1 tree. Team Trees was also different than what I normally do because the point wasn't really a video. The point was literally to plant 20 million trees.
Unlike most of his other projects, Team Trees ended up being something that Jimmy and his team didn't create so much content for. Instead, it was more like a passion project that he was really serious about and wanted to see work. To show how serious he was, Jimmy began reaching out to other content creators and YouTubers. And to his great shock, the responses he got were incredibly enthusiastic.
I got $1 for you.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna take the dollar, put it in some dirt, and then pull. Boom. You get a tree.
I'm so excited.
I genuinely was just shocked by just how much these creators cared. Literally hundreds of creators made videos on their channels to raise money to plant trees.
20 million trees. I am so in.
Proud members of Team Trees are filming a music video.
Don't get all the way.
I will plant at least a couple of trees
The reason I'm most excited about this is it feels like the end of Power Rangers when they would all assemble into the big thing and fight stuff together and do good.
We will be planting 20 million trees.
Team Trees was launched on October 25th, 2019.
And we put them in the hole?
We either thought it would just absolutely crash and burn and it would just be an absolute disaster, or we would hit our goal and it would be like a big success.
Only 19,999,980 more trees. Let's go! Yeah!
Once we put it out there, the world kind of just like took it and just blew it up.
Look at all these people. We're easily gonna hit 20 million.
And boy, did this thing blow up. To make things interesting, the team also set up a leaderboard so everyone could see the top donors and contributors to the project. From people donating hundreds, these guys got thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. In fact, even big names began hopping on. Elon Musk donated $1 million. Big corporations joined in as well, and it was just insane. In just 1 month, Team Tree smashed its goal of raising 20 mil to plant 20 million trees. When 2020 hit, things took a much different turn. The entire world was rocked by the coronavirus pandemic, and it affected just about every industry you could think about. Nevertheless, Jimmy and his team went back to the original sauce, sharing content where they helped people in conjunction with brands. From giving people who were laid off due to COVID some money to donating 2 million meals in the North Carolina area, Jimmy and his team were everywhere.
1,000 to 1,500 people a week. Couldn't have come at a better time.
It's your lucky day. This is all free.
Thank you.
We have people come up to us, just randomly every day, all the time, telling us they're so thankful for it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Beast.
Thank you, Mr. Beast. Yeah, I appreciate them right here, man. We're going to shout out Mr. Beast for looking out for the community.
And this was during COVID. Everyone was locked down, and this meant that there really was not much to do than watch YouTube videos. Soon enough, the MrBeast YouTube channel blew up even more. To up the ante even more, Jimmy and his team opened the world's very first free restaurant.
All right, come on in, everybody. And then I opened the world's first free restaurant. It was a restaurant, but everything was free. Basically, we went to a restaurant owner and we were like, hey, I want to use your restaurant. They didn't think we were being serious, and we tried to explain to the owner of this restaurant that we have 40+ million subscribers and that I want to open a restaurant for a day. And they didn't really think that many people would come to our restaurant. The second we put up the signs, right, free food, the lines started piling up quick. We thought if we rented the field, this giant field beside the restaurant, that'd be fine. The drive-through line goes through the parking lot, then it goes to the field, and it zigzags. That should be good, right?
What's up, boys? Welcome. What can I get you?
So we serve a few dozen people, and the line is just growing and growing and growing. It goes out the parking lot, goes through the field, through another parking lot, and it started backing up traffic.
Hi, here.
So we were stuffing bags full of cash. We were going out throwing cash to people everywhere we could. We were giving out video game consoles to kids.
Here's a brand new iPad.
We're just like throwing bags out the window. At one point, we're just grabbing money and just throwing it in their cars to keep them moving because they couldn't cook the food fast enough.
Thank you.
No problem. Are you crying? Oh, she's gonna make me cry.
The head of the police kept telling me the line's getting too long in the road. He's like, it's a mile long. And then he's like, it's 2 miles long. And then literally it felt like an hour later, he's like, dude, the line's like 20 miles long. It went really well. We had a lot of people come. It was a really good video. We were able to feed a lot of people.
Even better, Jimmy and his team decided to open a completely new channel known as Beast Philanthropy. Here, all of the ad revenue and money gotten from the videos were spent towards running a food bank that Jimmy had started.
Food banks across America. The first food banks will be in North Carolina, and then we'll scale them out across the United States and hopefully internationally at some point in time.
Right now, I really just want to learn all these nuances and actually learn how to help people as effectively as possible. And then, yeah, just as I make more money in my life, just do it at scale.
One thing that's been, truly special for me to watch was what, really started early on with Jimmy is just giving away money so people could click and watch and have some kind of shock and awe with that content has really changed into a greater effort to have an impact on the world.
My channel has billions of views, and those are real people. It's not just numbers on a screen. And a large chunk of that are on videos where we help people and we did good. And I mean, now that you got me thinking about it, yeah, the videos that got 50+ million views of me giving away money probably did inspire those 50 million people to go give money to other people. I don't really think about it much, but...
Fast forward to today, and the MrBeast brand has only gotten bigger. Forbes estimates that Jimmy could very well become the first billionaire YouTuber, and his brand has only gone from strength to strength ever since it gained worldwide notoriety. At the end of the day, Jimmy Donaldson is proof that anyone can do good. You don't need superpowers or even the biggest resource pool. As long as you've got a good heart and a passion for helping people, you could easily be on your way to doing just that. For now, it really is just a game of watching where he goes next with all of this.